Hello, and welcome to Spoiler Piece Theater, the podcast that doesn't give a shit about spoilers. We just want to talk about the movies. My name is Dave Riedel. My pronouns are he, him. I yap about movies, and I'm a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association.
My name is Evan Crean. My pronouns are he, him. I'm co-chair of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, co-author of your 80s Movie Guide to Better Living, and co-host of the It's the Pictures podcast.
Yeah.
Woo!
I got that one way back in the throat, and it got scratchy, and I almost coughed into the mic. Yay! I'm glad I didn't.
'Tis the coughing season, I guess.
Yeah. So we got a movie a new release we're going to be talking about in a moment. I just tripped over my words twice there. I don't know what's going on with me tonight, Evan. It must be all of the caffeine ? I don't know. We got one movie we're going to be talking about tonight. It's the new release. But over on the Patreon, in case you are a member, we had a poll this month. It was movies released in 1986 because we were thinking, oh my God, it's 40th anniversary of those movies. That's crazy. And we gave you 5 choices, and you chose Oliver Stone's Platoon. So Evan and I talk about that over on Patreon with divergent opinions, I must say.
It's true. Not in agreement on that one.
Not in agreement on Platoon. So guess which one is which before you go over and listen. And honor system, email us and tell us whether you were right. We will believe that you did not listen to the episode first. Yeah. If you're not a patron, by the way, please consider becoming one. It's $5 a month. And for that $5, you get to vote in a poll once a month about, 5 or 6 movies that we throw out at you. And then the rest of the time, we talk about a movie that we don't talk about on this show. It's usually an older movie. Sometimes it's pretty new. And it's always a lot of fun because we're a little bit looser, a little bit more carefree over there. I mean, I still swear the same amount of times on both,
yeah,
shows,
that's true.
But, so you're not going to get more fucks for your dollar, but, maybe you get a few more like or something.
You get a lot more spoiler piece for your dollar because in addition to these 600 plus episodes of this show, we have, I would say, hundreds of back catalog episodes of that too that you can listen to.
I would wager 400 plus at this point, although I've never counted. So.
Yeah, I think we made it 100 or a couple hundred in when we started the Patreon. So there's a lot there too.
Yeah. And while we're at it, I want to go ahead and thank our sponsor piece patron, Heather Sachs. Heather, thank you for being our sponsor piece patron.
Yeah. We salute you.
We just saluted we have cameras here so we can see each other, but there's no way we're putting this video out because I look like an old man in like a white V-neck shirt who's like showering. What's that? So,
sorry.
Yeah.
So self-deprecating.
You didn't think that one was going to be coming down the pike right there.
I was like, damn, man, you're brutal.
Yeah. So anyway, the movie we're talking about tonight is called She Dances, as opposed to She Drives, She Drives a Forklift, She Eats Spaghetti. This is She
She's
Dances.
Simply Unpredictable.
She's simply unpredictable. She's canoeing. This is called She Dances. This is directed by Rick Gomez. It's written by Mr. Gomez and Steve Zahn, and it also stars Mr. Zahn and his daughter, whose first name is Audrey. And it stars it has some cameos with the people. Rosemary DeWitt shows up in one scene and you hear her voice in another. Ethan Hawke is in a few scenes. And also, I must say, even before we get into it, revealing why you hire Ethan Hawke for just 3 scenes, Yeah. But anyway.
He makes the most out of those scenes, that's for sure. You also have Michael Cudlitz in a brief scene. Sonequa Martin Green plays her Audrey Zahn's dance coach. And I was most surprised to see Ron fucking Livingston show up in a cameo.
Yeah, that was fun. as the kind of not altogether with it hotel concierge check-in guy. I don't know.
He's pretty surly, pretty crotchety, sarcastic.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. So anyway, the gist of this story is over the opening credits, you learn that Steve Zahn is a dude and he has 2 children because you see lots of home videos of them, which is his real 2 children, Audrey Zahn, who is his co-star in this movie, and his son, Henry, great name. And she is she's just about to graduate high school. she's a competitive dancer. She's got a big thing coming up, and her mom is going to take her. And then mom's mom, grandma, decides to try to get one of her cats off the roof of her house, Keith or whatever the other one's name is. And they're like, Keith,
Yeah.
of course.
Oh, God, Keith again.
Yeah. And she falls off the ladder and hurts herself. And mom, who is wearing some kind of medical outfit
Scrubs.
in that scene, she's wearing scrubs. So she's some kind of medical professional. So she goes to take care of her mom and calls her ex-husband, Steve Zahn, and is like, hey, can you take, what's her name? Claire. Thank you.
They call her Skipper as a nickname, but yeah, her name is Claire in the movie.
Yeah. Can you take Claire to her competition this weekend? And Claire's like, fuck me. I don't want my dad to take me. And he's like, but Ethan Hawke and I are trying to sell our bourbon company. And she's like, okay, well, and he's like, you know what? I'll figure it out. And you get the feeling that he maybe used to be an alcoholic, and now he's either not, or he's in recovery, or he's trying very hard to be in recovery.
Right. He orders like club soda at the restaurant, and there's a scene later in the movie where he finds alcohol in the fridge. It's like frozen, and he like tips this mini fridge so he can tilt the alcohol into a glass that he like smells and then like pours down the drain.
Yeah. I was quite pleased that he did pour that down the drain. I actually thought for a moment that he was going to drink it, and then this movie would become very sad.
Yeah. I mean, it's already pretty sad because it's about a family, dealing with the loss of a dead child. I mean, you find out that they, Claire's brother, Jack, has died. We don't know what happened, like how he died necessarily, but
Right.
And it's within the last few years, it seems.
It's certainly still not that it would ever stop being raw, I guess, but it's still pretty raw. It's interesting. I mean, let's get into the talking about how the movie is, and then we'll kind of fill in the plot gaps, because does the whole thing with the dead brother, whose name is Jack, does that work for you?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, it's super fucking sad.
Oh, of course. Yeah. No, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I didn't sob every time they bring him up.
Yeah. But I think, a death of a child is destroys parents. It destroys families. I mean, they don't say it explicitly in the movie, but I assume this is what drove, Steve Zahn and, what's her name? Rosemary DeWitt's characters to get a divorce. Like why they're separated.
Absolutely.
Why he, Steve Zahn lives on his own, is estranged from his daughter. But yeah, I mean, I the only time I feel like it was a little on the nose for me is when she decided to make her dance at the end, her final dance about the brother and showing the home movies.
Yeah.
I feel like that was maybe a little on the nose, like for me.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I feel like it was a decent enough reason for them to have been estranged and to come back together throughout the course of the movie. What about you?
I think it mostly worked for me. I think the dance number at the end is, like you say, on the nose. I really, when she goes to the lighting guy with the flash drive and says, can you do something for me that's illegal? And he says, how illegal? And then it is funny though when she says dance illegal.
Right.
I just thought, well, this is going to be, I don't know what
the
it is.
Movies, right.
I didn't know it was going to be the home movies, but I knew it was going to be about her brother. I did know that.
Same. And then I wasn't surprised because you see these home movies. That's the opening of the film. You see both him and her watching the movies on their laptop in different locations. They're watching them later together when they're sitting and having a moment and talking about everything.
Yeah, and I think the moment where they talk about it is understated in a good way. And I think that Steve Zahn really shows some acting chops in this. I mean, he's always a fine actor, and he's a really good comedic actor.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's nice to see him in something a little bit more dramatic. And I also, for a while I was thinking to myself, is it too on the nose how he, at the end of the movie, when Ethan Hawke like shows up at the dance competition because they have this bourbon company together and they're trying to sell it and they're on the verge of selling it, and he hasn't heard from Ethan Hawke hasn't heard from Steve Zahn in a couple of days, so he goes there to find him because I guess the last time he hadn't heard from him in a few days, he was on some bender and
Right. He
it was
found
bad.
him asleep on a golf course in Arizona or something.
Yeah, and then he says because the name of the company is Two Jacks, and they both have sons named Jack,
Right.
and they were best friends. And he said, I never said to you, how are you doing? This must have been hard for you. And this is why you pay Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, I think this is a standout scene in the film between Steve Zahn and Ethan Hawke. They feel like old friends. It's extremely well acted. I also found it very moving, Dave, for when Steve Zahn looks at Ethan Hawke and says, yeah, I never thought to ask you and because it must have been hard for you to deal with all this stuff because you've been here holding me up this entire time. And he says, thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being my best friend. Thank you for being an example of what I think a friend should be. You've been here holding me up this entire time. And like, without you, I'd be lost, basically. So thank you for that. But also, like, I'm sorry, I never thought to ask about how you were doing. And Ethan Hawke says something effective like, yeah.
It's the worst thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah, it was the worst thing that ever happened to me, and it was the hardest thing that my son had to, because through that you realize that his son is still alive, and he had to go through that too, of like losing his best friend.
Yeah,
it's a knockout scene. Like it is like excellent acting.
Yeah, I think though, and this is where I'm going to get into a little trouble. I think that Audrey Zahn, not great. I think
she's okay. I think she's okay.
I don't think she's bad, but I think it shows that she's not very experienced. Not the dancing stuff. It's clear that she can dance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think that the choice to write her character the way she's written, which is not sullen, that's not the right word. Reserved, maybe, or she's certainly. Yeah, she's certainly not. Yeah, withdrawn is a good way to put it. I think that, well, for one thing, a lot of her audio is so quiet that I had to crank up my volume, which is not necessarily her fault, but I just didn't. I don't know. It just didn't hit my gut. I think the way it was supposed to. I did think that she was pretty good in the scene with her dad when they were talking about Jack.
Yeah.
One scene where they talk about it.
Oh my God. I love the intro to that too, because she's sitting there like eating some tater tots, and like around the corner is this girl who she's nicknamed Dolph after like Dolph Lundgren. There's a whole like Rocky thing where it's like, she's the unstoppable force that she's trying to beat, and that girl comes and gets in her face and like talking shit to her, and she's kind of just not even really paying attention to it. She's noticing this girl across the way from her that's upset and has been sitting there with like her head in her hands, and this moment got to me in particular. Little blonde girl is upset, and her dad comes and gives her a hug, and it seems like everything is okay for her now. And then she realizes, while this other girl is in her face talking to her like, I need my dad. I need a hug from my dad. And then she just texts her dad and it's like, meet me. And that's when they have this moment. And I've been meaning to ask you how you felt about, because this movie commits very specifically to split screen. And it has split screen. Initially, I was kind of like, I kind of see where it's going. Like a large part of the movie in the beginning is father and daughter side by side. You seeing them having kind of parallel experiences. But then I feel like it comes back around in this scene where they end up sitting side by side together, and kind of like the split screen kind of like comes to like it kind of like brings their worlds together. And admittedly, I feel like I was kind of annoyed by the split screen thing. Like, oh, this is a gimmick, but I'm like, but they're really committed to it, so maybe it's going to go somewhere. And I did feel like for me, it kind of came together effectively in the scene where they like end up coming and sitting down next to each other, and their worlds kind of come together again.
Yeah, I think that there are like 3 big split screen scenes, right? There's the opening when he goes home and he's alone, and then she's with her mom. And then
Yep.
there's that scene that you were just talking about. And then there's the last scene where she's done her solo dance because her partner during their second duo, or I don't know what you call it when two people dance.
She busts her ankle.
Breaks her ankle. And then her father is a total asshole to her.
Yep.
I'm trying to imagine the worst father in the world, and I can't imagine that anyone is that bad. Can you?
Oh, I'm sure that there is. I mean, the dad clearly disapproves of her dancing. He says to Steve Zahn, like, "Oh, at least this. I bet this will finally put an end to this like silly dream of being a dancer."
Yeah.
And Steve Zahn is like, actually, I love that he takes the opportunity to say, "Hey, like, not only is your kid a good dancer, she's like a great friend of my daughter and like a good person. So like, you should know that."
I like the way.
Asshole.
I like the way he handles that. He's just like super complimentary about her, and that kind of tells you everything you need to know about him and the friend's dad. And I think the friend's dad kind of knows he's an asshole because he doesn't say anything. He just like
leaves,
kind of taps Steve Zahn on the shoulder and leaves. And you know, I mean, I'm sorry you had to have Tommy John surgery, but if you couldn't come back from it, you know, professional pitchers come back from it all the time. Anyway, some pitchers have it twice. So, yeah. Anyway, I forgot where we were going with that beforehand. Oh, the three split
screens. Yeah.
Yeah. The last time is when she dances her solo thing about her brother. And I don't think it works in the last one because what I was really hoping was, you know, you've got the two shots and she's looking for him and he's looking for her. And then it's clear from the way that they're shot when they come in and they're in the same room. But then it cuts to a single double shot. Does that make sense? It cuts to a two shot of them instead of having one of the cameras have one of the characters walk into that frame and then, you know, having the split screen dissolve or something. I don't know. I think that was I don't know. That really stuck out to me as a real mistake. I don't know. Because it's like, oh yeah, we're separated, we've got some healing, and now we are healed as much as a movie can let you heal.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I think that having one of them step into the other's shot and then bringing it to the two shot would have made a lot more sense. But
yeah, I agree with that. I think that's a fair critique of how they did it. Yeah.
Can I tell you that Sonequa Martin Green is so empathetic and kind to Steve Zahn? I was worried for a while that they were going to have a fling.
Oh yeah, I didn't think that was coming. I thought maybe he might hook up with one of the other dance moms, but he was like not really playing their games or whatever, where they were kind of like trying to like flirt with him,
right?
Because they were like so listeners, what happens is he fucks up the reservation at the hotel. He tries to like upgrade to a better room, but it's the reservations for the next weekend, so they lose the reservation at the hotel where all this is happening and have to stay at a motel. And at the motel, there's all these other dance moms there with like younger girls who look up to Claire and her friend. And so like they stay there, but the women are just like hitting on Steve Zahn the entire time, like, come drink with us. And then like when Ethan Hawke shows up and he introduces them to Ethan Hawke, they're like hitting on him too.
And they start hitting on him.
like grabbing his pants and like talking about his pants and whatnot.
Yeah. So
I thought, maybe there could be something there, but I was like, he's not playing into any of it. So
no. I mean, yeah. So overall, I do have to say that I did like this. I was moved by it. I mean,
yeah.
That being said, you know, you throw dead children into something, and that one, I didn't know that a large part of this plot centered around dead child. You know?
Yeah, me neither. I thought it was, you know, the kind of broad strokes of the plot summary that I've read about, like a father reconnecting with his daughter on this kind of like road trip. And I didn't realize the reason they needed to reconnect is because, you know, she lost her brother and he lost his son.
Yeah. And I'm glad I didn't know that, because I don't know if I would have been able to go into it. Although it's funny, it's, even if you don't know anything about the movie, I think you know almost from the beginning that Jack's dead, because He's in all those home movies, and then there's the scene with Ethan Hawke and Steve Zahn with the two people who want to buy their bourbon. Is it bourbon? I can't remember.
2 Jack's bourbon. Yep.
Yeah. And then when he gets home alone, it's like, well, clearly he's saying, hey, I'm home to nobody, which turns out to be true. But then when you see the other side of the split screen and it's just mom, it's just Rosemary DeWitt and Audrey Zahn, it's like, oh, Jack's dead. It's like immediately like he's dead. I mean, if it wasn't clear from watching like the home movies, and the movie's called She Dances, so it's not her. Yeah, and I was just kind of like, I don't know if I'm ready for this, but it turned out to be fine. Although I did sob a lot.
Yeah, this is a very moving, well acted movie. I think I would probably describe it as kind of a slight movie, but I don't mean that as a knock. I just mean it's like a more of it's a drama, and it's not very showy, but it is really well acted, and I think is moving in many scenes. But man, yeah, like you said, this is why you call Ethan Hawke and you have him act in like a couple of scenes, because holy shit, what's that guy able to do?
Yeah, and it's just like, hey, remember when we were in Reality Bites? Yeah, I need you to do me a favor.
Yeah,
I always forget that Steve Zahn is like the fourth friend in Reality Bites until I see it again.
I've never seen it, so like I didn't even realize that there was that connection there. That's really funny. I knew they had to have been friends from something back in the day, because you don't just have Ethan Hawke in a in super indie movie like this without having some type of like friendship there.
You know what's really funny? Oh man, I wish you had seen it before, because I have to tell you. So I saw Reality Bites a million times, 5 or 6 times. I saw it in the theater when it came out, and saw it on video a few times afterwards. I had the fucking poster. I had the soundtrack. I loved it. And I watched it again like 5 years ago, and I was like, these characters, I want to kill all of them. These are the whiniest, bitchiest little fucking assholes. Like all of them, whether they're the cool Ethan Hawke character or Winona Ryder or the asshole Ben Stiller, like they all suck. The only character you like is the one you don't see as much as the other ones, which is Steve Zahn. Oh, and you like Janine Garofalo too, but they're both kind of in it for comedy, So, yeah, I know that makes me sound probably boomerish, but I am not. I am Gen X, and it's just one of those things where you're like, I don't even think. I mean, I know that in my early 20s, I was a little bit of a douche. I don't think I was like this though. So, yeah. So the reason I say that is I would love to know, like, if you had seen it, when you were in high school or in college, something, and seen it in 20 years, and now you watch it again.
Yeah, I went back and watched it.
I want to kick Ethan Hawke in the nuts. Like, what's going on here? I don't think I want to kick him in the nuts, but I do want to punch him in the face. Let me put it that way. But then again, you want to knock her parents. Winona Ryder's parents are in it, Jodan Baker and Swoosie Kurtz, and they both suck. I don't know. Maybe I just don't like the screenplay. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Now I feel like I need to watch it so I can have an opinion about this movie.
Yeah. So anyway, yes, I think that, Steve Zahn is one of those guys who, what you know him from, which of course is Out of Sight, and in my case, not yours, Reality Bites, and just lots of other stuff, That Thing You Do, and he just pops up in things all the time, and he's always good, and I don't really know if I've ever seen him play a dramatic role. Have you?
I have, yeah. He's in the Apple TV show Silo. He came on in the 2nd season, and I think he elevated the show substantially for me. Like his presence as a performer. I was like, oh my God, Steve Zahn MVP. Because I was kind of like, I watched the 1st season, and I was like, yeah, it's all right. But I really, in addition to them deepening the mythology and making a more compelling show, the fact that they brought in Steve Zahn was like a major win for me in terms of liking the show a lot more.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it says here that he's in Dallas Buyers Club. I don't remember his character in that, and that's a drama for sure. Rescue Dawn. I don't remember his character in that. Lean on Pete, which is that movie about the horse, if you recall, which is one of the fucking more heart-tugging movies in a bad way that I've ever seen. I don't remember him in that. Where's my Steve Zahn meter?
Yeah, I remember. I think the first time that I saw Steve Zahn, or at least made note of him, was seeing Saving Silverman.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's what Jason Biggs and right? Yeah, and Jack Black.
Yeah,
for sure. Oh my God, how funny would it have been if Jack Black had been the friend at Two Jack's Bourbon? I'll bet he could have pulled it off. You know?
Yeah, I'm sure he could have.
Yeah.
But I liked Ethan Hawke in this. I'm glad that he was here, and there was a real authenticity to this friendship that came through.
Yeah. And I also appreciate that Ethan Hawke ate on screen, which so many actors tiptoe around doing. You know?
Yeah, there's a whole bit about they're eating tater. He doesn't get the tater tots or something. He's like, Steve Zahn's like, you really should. Like, everyone's all about him here. And then he was like, here, you'll take some of mine. And Ethan Hawke's like, oh, I don't know. He's like, you've literally shared everything. Steve Zahn's like, you've shared everything with me. I can share a few tater tots with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Ethan Hawke has some tater tots. He's like, I should have gotten the tater tots.
I loved in that conversation too. Steve Zahn is like, my daughter asked me like, why am I selling the business? And I really don't have a good answer. And then he looks at Ethan Hawke and he's like, do you want to sell? He's like, no. And so they're like, let's not sell. And I thought that was a really nice result too.
Yeah, I thought it was good how the first thing Ethan Hawke says there is, I want to do whatever you want to do.
That's right.
Yeah. And I thought, this is a guy who, even if he has to sell the business he doesn't want to sell, he would rather save his friend's soul, life, whatever, than keep the business, and watch him spiral. So I thought that was really sweet. Good friend.
Yeah, really good friend.
Yeah. I always worry that Ethan Hawke, because, he can do so many different things, I always worry at some point that he's going to turn into an asshole, because in some movies he does, Have you ever seen that one where he's the serial killer?
Yes, the Black Phone Jolie one?
No, not that one. The one with Angelina Jolie.
Which one is that one?
I spoiled it. I don't know. I think it's called Taking Lives. Where she's a cop.
Maybe I've seen it. It sounds kind of familiar.
He's like a victim of a crime or a witness of a crime, and it turns out the crime is committed by a serial killer, but it turns out he's the serial killer.
That sounds fun.
It's not a great movie, but he's good in it. I remember like when I was coming up, or when I was younger or whatever, I would see Ethan Hawke in movies and be like, this guy, he's such a fucking actor. He's like doing like I'm Ethan Hawke and I take things seriously because it's art. And I've really actually grown to appreciate that attitude over the years, of taking everything you do seriously, whether it's this or Black Phone or
Training Day.
Yeah. Or
Gattaca. That's one of my favorite like 90s Ethan Hawke movies.
I saw Gattaca not long ago, and all I can think about is they fucking test urine so much in that movie. So much of that movie's about pee.
It's true.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it's true.
And also, nobody in that movie swims how people actually swim, but that's okay. I know the reason they do it. It's so you can see which one of them is which when they're in the water, but it still irritates me. So. It's a good movie, though. Good story.
Which one, Gattaca or this movie?
Gattaca.
Yeah.
I mean, this is good too. I think this movie is really good. I don't really like to say good for what it is about things, because it sort of makes it sound like I'm being dismissive. But I mean, this is a small indie dramedy that is supposed to be affecting emotionally. And it is. It works on that level. So it's good for what it is, And as somebody who likes Steve Zahn and has, apparently forgotten 3 of the movies that I have seen that he's in, I like seeing him in a substantial role,
Mm-hmm.
And even though he's got a couple of acting choices in this that I think are in the moment kind of strange, when you think about them, I think they make sense on the whole. Like when the scene where they talk about Jack, when she says, "Can we talk about Jack?" And he just reads out, and then he says, like, way too, like, his eyes tear up, and then he says way too loudly, "Yeah." And I was just like, woo. And I was like, oh, it just all came out in that moment, Anyway, I want to stop talking about dead children.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think he does a really good job of playing this kind of like guy who's adrift emotionally and wants to reconnect with his daughter, but doesn't know how. And he, like, literally to the point where he's asking people, like, what should I do? And everyone just says to him, just be there.
Mm-hmm.
Just be present.
Yeah, I think that's what Ethan Hawke says to him. He's like, just be there, man. Just go there. And then I think that Claire says, oh, so he's going to go there and he's just going to sit in the back of the auditorium drunk and play video games on his phone. And I also appreciate that at no point does he ever say to her, hey, I'm not drinking, or hey, I got sober, or whatever. It's just like, he's not, I think his character does really well at not forcing himself on her, trying to make it all like blah 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 blah.
Right,
in one
trying
weekend.
to meet her halfway, or letting her come to him. I think he does that very effectively.
Yeah,
and I did really also like the scene where they find out, her and the friend find out that he likes musicals because he was in Oklahoma one summer, and that was a really cute story. And then at the end of the film, during the credits, you actually see the video of Steve Zahn when he was in that production of Oklahoma in the 80s talking about it. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it is cool, actually. I mean, and this is coming from somebody who is like, Oklahoma. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like how his character says also, it's like, because Claire says to him, like, you didn't tell, like, grandma and grandpa or uncle, whatever, his uncle that he was working for. He's like, yeah. He's like, I just wanted something for me. And I was like, I like that, dude. I like that character choice,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, that's another split screen moment in the movie, because you're seeing him in present day in a split screen with like a past version of himself.
That's right.
And there's a part in the story where he has to pause, I think, because his phone rings, and his younger self on the left side of the screen is like kind of swatting bugs away or doing something where he's kind of like waiting for the next action he's supposed to do.
Yeah, that's right. And he's also, because he's a landscaper, you see him accidentally destroying flower beds with the weed whacker.
Yes. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this movie's funny. It's moving. I think I thought it was really effective, and I was really surprised in a good way by this, because I didn't really know what I was getting into.
Yeah, I'm glad we saw it too. I'm glad you suggested this, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think I spotted it somewhere. I was like, oh, this has got quite the cast for a little indie movie.
Yeah. And directed by Rick Gomez, who was a huge part of Band of Brothers. I can see his face.
Know that.
I don't remember the name of the character he played, but I feel like he could do. I don't. I want to say it. I feel like he did.
That's got to be the Ron
Livingston
connection, right?
Yes. Is Steve Zahn in? No, it's Rick Gomez then who did that. Yeah. Right. But yeah, he's in Band of Brothers. He's one of the guys, I think, who makes it through the whole thing without, Actually, I think most of those guys make it through the whole thing. I think that's part of the reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. I haven't seen Band of Brothers, I think, since it was brand new. So.
Yeah. Michael Cudlitz was in that too. Yeah. I guess that was a through line for this, huh?
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. You just you're making a movie. Steve Zahn and I wrote a movie, and let me call in some favors, You get paid scale for 2 days' work.
Yeah. I know, honestly, a lot of times when I see things where someone's in something as a favor, it's it's often very clear that it was done as a favor because they're not putting in their A plus work.
Yeah.
And B, you're like, oh my God, I wish you didn't. I really wish you didn't agree to this, even though you felt like you owed somebody. And this is like a rare time I can say this was the right call. This is great that you got him, great that he came, and great that he like did all of the work and didn't like phone it in.
Yeah. And I think Michael Cudlitz was good in his one scene. You know, I think
Yeah.
I need a guy who can act and like give you everything you need to know about this character in 3 minutes. And boom. He does.
Yeah, that's true. That's a hard job as an actor to show up in like a scene and say a lot about a character without very much screen time.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, is there anything that you would like to add before we sign off?
I was kind of bummed that she didn't want to stay and hear the results / be on stage when
She won.
She's like, yeah, I know we hear as the audience that she won, but I was kind of bummed that I know she says, you know, I didn't do it just to win. I came, you know, I wanted to like dance my feelings on stage basically and pack it in. But I don't know. I feel like all that hard work for me in the audience would have been nice to see her like go and accept the win.
Yeah.
Get that nice attention.
I do wonder though, if you did see that, what would the ending be though? You know?
Yeah.
I don't think you're wrong necessarily, because when the door closes right as they're announcing her name, I was just like, aw, she won and she just left. But
right,
also,
exactly.
Yeah, but it's also kind of like, well, I mean, that wasn't the story kind of she did the thing. She's done with it. She wants to go. I mean, that's and
well, yeah, I mean, if it's my daughter and she says, "Dad, I don't want to stay," I would leave. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I was thinking maybe the end would be like she's like, "Dad, come with me on stage and like stand with me and let's hear how I did," or something like that.
That would have been interesting. Yeah, I think yes. Now having kids who are old enough to like get into sports and stuff like that, and to watch the absolute pendulum swinging of emotions when things go well or don't go well with the sport they're playing. Oh my God. Like if one of the boys was like, I can't do this anymore, I'd be like, you don't have to, it's fine. I can't watch you tear your hair out anymore because it's breaking my heart. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh my God, your kids, they do it to you. Even when you're like, you know what, whatever this is going to be this time, it will not affect me. And then you're fucking in the bathroom tearing your face off 3 hours later. Ay, ay, ay. That's a metaphor for crying. So.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Yeah.
I don't think I quite became as bad as I thought I would be in terms of like kids stuff in movies and TV and being like, ugh, about it. It definitely hits me. It's just, I feel like I thought it would probably be worse.
Yeah. I do wonder what the choice is to not reveal how or why Jack died, you know? I got the impression that it was maybe alcohol related because you see him drinking a beer in one of the home videos. But then I thought, well, he only drank, that's one home video out of, you know, a couple dozen home videos. Steve Zahn got sober, but I think that if he were like driving a car and killed his kid in a drunk driving accident, that Rosemary DeWitt they wouldn't just be divorced. She'd be burning him in effigy.
Right.
Know?
Yeah. I got the sense that it was maybe some type of accident. Yeah. Like a drowning or a car accident with the two sons or something that happened. I don't think it was cancer because I feel like they would have just been like, fuck cancer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I think it was definitely
some type of accidental death.
I think it was whatever it was. They were not expecting it. Yeah. Didn't I say I wanted to stop talking about dead kids?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I brought it back around. You asked me if I had more comments, and I wanted to talk about the ending because that was one thing. I was like, oh yeah, I didn't mention that because me, listeners. If you listen to the show, you know I can be okay with ambiguous endings, but sometimes if like I want some satisfaction and catharsis, and it does irk me a little bit if I feel like I'm not getting quite what I need at the end of the movie.
Yeah. And then you have me where if things are spelled out too much, it makes me really mad. Like in another Ethan Hawke movie, the horror movie he's in where they live in that house and he's the author. I don't remember what it's called. What's that one called?
What is that one called?
I was going to say yeah. I was going to say Slither, but that's not right because it's not about snakes.
Sinister? Is that it?
Sinister. That is it. Yes. That is, I swear to you, man, I think 3/4 of one of the greatest horror movies ever. And then they tell you exactly what happened. And it's like, it's no longer scary. It's no longer scary. So.
Yeah. I was to indulge in that tangent for a moment too. I remember people saying that's one of the scariest movies like ever. And I remember sitting down and watching it within like the last year and thinking, there's some very gruesome imagery in this movie. And that's tough to watch. But is it the scariest? I don't think it's the scariest.
I think when he finds those 8mm movies and he's watching exactly how everyone dies, that is truly frightening.
Yeah, it's gruesome, I think. And it's like, it makes my skin crawl, but not in a way that I was like terrified. That's where a lot of people describe it. And I was like, that's not my experience watching. Good movie. And I agree. I think it does kind of fall apart toward the end, but
yeah. That's a lot of horror movies though. What are you going to do? You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, do we explain? Do we not explain? Do we explain a little bit? What would Evan Green say? You know?
Or what would Dave say? I know you don't like when they over explain stuff. And I tend to agree in movies in general. I hate when endings like Shutter Island. I always cite that one.
I've never seen Shutter Island.
I feel like the movie beats you over the head with the explanation in a way that is just truly obnoxious.
Kind of like how we were talking about Platoon, which is over on the Patreon today.
Yep.
Yeah. The ending, not necessarily the movie as a whole, though it's Oliver Stone, so you know.
Yeah, no, well, tune into that.
Tune into that, everybody.
Yeah. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. All right. Well, do you have any more closing thoughts about She Dances?
No, I mean, I think people should see this wherever it's available. I mean, I don't know that it's getting like a theatrical, like wide release or anything, but yeah, people should watch this movie. I think it's really good.
Yeah, I think on the whole, it definitely works. I think that
okay, yeah, it looks like it is in theaters, but yeah, go see it.
Yeah, I think that Steve Zahn is it's, if nothing else, it's really cool to see Steve Zahn in a meaty leading role in the latter part of his career here. I mean, it's not like he's that old. He's only like a couple years older than I am, but you know, yeah. Ethan Hawke, Cudlitz, Rosemary DeWitt. I don't know how they got her for a scene or two, but they did. So yeah. Anyway, all right. We told you how we feel about those movies. So that's Spoiler Piece Theater. We both think it's a yay on She Dances, which is very exciting because I feel like lately I have not been a go see this on a lot of things.
Yeah. Same here. I feel like I haven't recommended a lot of stuff in the last few weeks. Yeah. Even stuff that I'm like, it's on Netflix, but don't waste your time.
Yeah, I know. When we were talking about War Machine last week, we were both like, yeah, so we saw it. You shouldn't see it. Like, oh, what? But it's free. Yeah. I mean, it's free if you consider selling your soul free. So anyway, see this one. Want to thank our editor Otto Clammer for doing the editing work and making us sound great every week. Thanks, Otto.
Thanks, Otto.
You can find Spoiler Piece Theater anywhere you get podcasts. Our website is spoilerpiece.com. We're on social media. We're Spoiler Piece Theater on Facebook, and we're at Spoiler Piece on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, and Blue Sky, and Threads. If you'd like to email us, the email address is spoilerpiece@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about this or any of the other movies we've reacted to ever, but probably the more recent stuff because we remember it better than we would say something we covered like 9 years ago. And if you like the show, please rate and review us by going to ratethispodcast.com/spoilerpiece, or you can just do it directly on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That is a big help to us when you rate the show. When you rate the show well, And
Yeah.
if you really,
Get
really
the fuck
like
out of here with those 1-star reviews.
that motherfucker's like, is this thing on? It's like, did you listen to the episode, you asshole? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I know. I don't usually get pissed off about that kind of stuff, but when someone goes out of their way to mishear something you say, that makes me really mad.
Yeah. I hear you.
Anyway, if you really, really like the show, except for that guy, please join our Patreon. Actually, you could join our Patreon. I'll take your money. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
This
you
week,
can medium like the show and be a patron.
Exactly. We talk about the Oliver Stone award-winning 1986 film Platoon. And yeah, that's everything. My name is Dave Riedel. I'm a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association. Dave sees movies on Instagram, Letterboxd, Blue Sky, Threads, and I think that's everything. Yeah.
Yeah. My name is Evan Crean. I am co-chair of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, co-author of your 80s Movie Guide to Better Living, and co-host of the It's the Pictures podcast. You can follow me on social media as Real Recon, and that's real as in film reel.
Thanks, everyone. See you next week.
Bye.